Calvary, greetings to you all. I welcome you all to this presentation that I'm going to do, an online presentation. I hope I find you all well. I greet you all in the mighty name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I want to take this opportunity to greet all the deacons amongst us. I want to greet all the elders amongst us, all regional pastors who are listening to these broadcasts. All district pastors are listening to this broadcast. I want also to take this opportunity to greet the highly favored men of God, our overseer, Mr. Tobiwa, for the Lesotho Forward in Faith. I want to thank you all. I hope you are enjoying the weather there in Lesotho. My name is Gilbert Chifamba, and I will be presenting on a topic which I called entrepreneurship. So I'm going to look into a lot of things that I'm going to look into. God willingly, we are going to go through all these things and we are going to learn a lot. What I know about God, when you look into the Bible, in Genesis chapter number 1, around verse number 26, you hear that man was given dominion. And when the Bible talks about men, they were talking about men and women together. They said we were given dominion over everything on the earth. And our mandate is to subdue everything. So when we were given dominion, it means that we were given power. And what we were given is power to make ourselves rich and enrich ourselves so that we have dominion over everything on this earth. Now, again, when we look into the biblical principles there, in Deuteronomy chapter number 8, actually Deuteronomy chapter number 8, around verse 18, you hear that it is God who gives us the power to be rich. So if God allows us to be rich, then we will be rich. So whenever we are going to talk about this issue of entrepreneurship, we need to understand that we first need to seek the face of God, which is said in Matthew chapter number 6, verse 33, that seek ye first the kingdom of God, and every other thing shall be added unto us. So as we endeavor to be entrepreneurs in our areas, we need first to seek the face of God in everything that we are going to do. And again, I want to draw your attention before I make the presentation to Genesis chapter number 26, verse 12 to 14. We hear that during a drought, Isaac, the son of Abraham, went into a Philistine's place called Gerar. And during that drought, God allowed him to plant. And he planted in a drought where there was nothing. But because God was with him, he planted and he harvested 100-fold. Which means that he actually got more in a drought season than what you would normally get when there was no drought. So the issue of being an entrepreneur and being successful is not based on the circumstances that you are surrounded with. It's not based on the location of your country. It is also not based on whether you have a lot or you don't have. It is based on you going according to the plan of God. As long as you do that, everything will sail through as God would allow the things to sail through. Now, I'm going to talk about entrepreneurship. And Lesotho, I've also done a bit of investigation and survey and reading onto it. And I discovered that it's not a very big nation. a population of around 2 million people. And out of the 2 million, 400,000, which is almost like 25%, a quarter of the people are into the informal sector, which means these people, they work for themselves. They work using their hands. And again, according to the Bible, you would see that in Deuteronomy chapter number 28, verse 12, the Lord was speaking to the children of Israel in the desert. And he told them that he was going to bless the works of their hands. And that when they are blessed, they will never borrow, but they will lend. So we as the children of God, we are not supposed to borrow. We are supposed to lend. Because when God bless the works of our hands, we'll definitely be rich enough to lend people some money and every other thing. Now in Lesotho, I've seen that there are some businesses that are booming in the area, and I'm going to talk on about 4 of the businesses. In case there are other people who want to know which businesses are booming in Lesotho. Beauty and wellness business is booming. Beauty and wellness is booming. And when you talk about beauty and wellness, we are talking about some beauty salons for ladies, some barber shops for the men. We are talking about gyms that will make us well, our health. We are talking about hairstylings. We are also talking about skin treatments. These are areas which are booming and which is on number 1 in Lesotho. So anyone who can venture into these business areas will definitely make it well if they do it well. I also discovered that there's also another business called roast coffee business, which talks about flavored coffee. People in Lesotho, they really want their coffee. So if you are able to venture also into this business, it is a worthwhile cause because it is a booming business that you can take venture into. I also saw that brewing business, where we brew beer and so forth, is a booming business. But since I'm talking with people who have known God, I know this one would not be anything to talk about. I will not talk more of it because we don't encourage you as Christians to get into this brewing business for beer. So the number 4 business that is booming in Lesotho is textile and apparel business. Textile and apparel business, where we are going to talk about footwear, where we are going to talk about clothing industry, where we are talking about textiles. This is also a booming industry. And now, if you have passion in it, and if you are experienced in it, I would encourage you to also venture into this business. Now, these are just businesses that are running in Lesotho. But now let me start my presentation, which I am entitling Entrepreneurship. Now, entrepreneurship, by definition, you might want to know, it is the ability and readiness to develop, to organize, and to run a business enterprise along with all its risks in order to make profit. So when I talk about entrepreneurship, I'm simply talking about you developing, you organizing, you running a business. And this business that you are going to run, it has got risks that are involved. And wherever there's a risk, there is money. So you need to calculate your risks well. You need to overcome all the risks that are involved in the business in order to be successful. So it is important as an entrepreneurship to remember that any business that you want to venture into has got some risks involved. And the way you are going to overcome these risks will make it a point that you will succeed in life. So the bigger the risks, the better the returns. But you need to work out all the risks before you even embark on doing the business. And when you are an entrepreneur, you are someone who is going to bring new ideas in the market. You are supposed to be very innovative. And for you to get money in any industry and field, you need to bring a new idea in the field. You need to bring a new product in the field. And when you bring a new product, it means you are satisfying the market and you are closing a gap which had already existed. So when you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to think about everything that is surrounding you, the market, the industries. You need to see the shortcomings of the industries. You need to see the shortcomings of the markets that you are going to enter into. And you need now to close that gap. And whenever you close a gap, your business will be booming. Now, I'm going to talk about small business entrepreneurships. Now, being an entrepreneur, it means you are going to work using your hands. I'm encouraging even those who are going to work. The late Archbishop Guti, around 1991, talked about what we call matarenda, where he encouraged everyone to work using their hands. Even if they are going to a formal work, they need to have something, a side hustle, which they are going to be doing on top of the work. And even women, sometimes women, they don't go to work, but I know nowadays women are also going to work. But I'm talking about one thing, that even if you are going to a formal workplace, you also need to engage on a small business enterprise, which is separate from the normal business that you are doing. And this business should give you money on the sidelines. So I'm going to talk about small business enterprises for those who are not employed and for those who are already employed. You need to listen carefully to this. And these small business enterprises, examples are like hairdressers, examples are like motor mechanics, electricians, plumbers, grocery stores, travel agents, consultants, business consultants, carpenters, and the list is endless. And these are the small business enterprises that I'm going to talk about. And you realize that most of them are informal, which means that they don't go through the formal system of the country. And these make up 25% of the country's GDP, gross domestic product, which means they are very key. Everyone should have a small business enterprises for them to succeed. Getting a salary only from a workplace will not make you a very successful person. You need to have a side hustle, which you engage on, which you put all your energy on in order to increase the returns. Now, there are characteristics or traits that are important, or some qualities that are important for you to have before you become an entrepreneurship, or before you become an entrepreneur. You need to have these characters or traits or qualities. Number one, you need to be someone who is able to take a risk. You need to be someone who is able to take a risk. You should be have your mindset ready to take calculated risks. It's not every risk that you need to take, but you need to take calculated risk when you start a small business enterprise. And as long as you have got ways of beating up the risk, it means you become successful in the business that you are doing. You need also to be someone who is very innovative. You come up with new ideas. you come up with new products, you come up with new services. And the moment you become innovative, it means you are able to close in a gap that is in the market. And that gap is money. As long as you see a gap in any market or field, it becomes money. For example, myself, I am into electronics. I did electronics at university. And I capitalized on this because I have passion in electronics. I decided to set up a workshop which is going to repair cell phones. And I discovered that almost everyone nowadays have a cell phone. Even children now at school, they are using cell phones for online studies and so forth. So I discovered that because the market is already there, the gap that is there is for me to repair the phones when they get damaged. Because everyone is using a phone as their own computer. It has all their informations. And they do all their banking transactions on there. They do all their marketing on the phone. They do everything. Their communications is based on the phone. So if the phone gets damaged, it means that they are disconnected from everything that they hold dearly. So I decided to work on these phones. And this is a booming business because I saw the gap in the market here in Zimbabwe. Again, I went to groceries. I saw that everyone would want to have food on their table, regardless of rich or poor. They, at the end of the day, would want to have a plate of food on their table. So I embarked on a grocery or some grocery shops, which I'm currently running. And I've seen that it's a business which will always boom because we will always eat for us to survive. I also looked into another business, which I'm also doing, which is the transport business. I also have heavy trucks, which carry goods from one city to another. This is a booming business because I've seen people want to buy and sell, but they need to transport their goods. And I find a gap where I have some trucks which will do that. So as you are going to look into this, you need to look into the economy. You need to look into the environment in which you are surviving in. And that environment now will give you which business you can do. Now, I was talking about number 2, innovation. And number 3, you need to know your product or your business. Start a business in which you have got passion in. Don't run a business in which you don't know how to do it. That's an error. God has given us our gifts, inbuilt gifts, which we know we have. Some are born mechanics by nature. Some are born people who can do the consultative business. They can be consulted on a lot of areas. Some are travel agents. Some have got a lot of things that they can do. So you need to identify the talents which you have, the gifts. And when you have got those gifts, it means you've got passion to do the job in that area. So know your product and know your business. You need to do a business in which you have got some know-how. You can't start a motor repair garage for servicing cars when you don't have nothing to do with the cars. You don't even know the parts in the car engine. It means you have time and a difficulty in maneuvering in that area. For myself, I did electronics. So it means that when I open a cell phone, I know every part inside the cell phone. It gives me a leverage into the business and into the field. So you need to know your product as a characteristic, a trait, or a quality. You are supposed to be flexible. That is adaptable to change. You're not supposed to remain rigid in what you understand. Sometimes the trends in the country, business-wise and so forth, things change, and they do change. because we are always moving. We are in the 21st century. So there are a lot of changes that are happening. So as a small business entrepreneur, you are supposed to be flexible to change. Move with change in everything that you do. Do not remain stagnant. What was happening 10 years is not what is happening now. What was happening 30 years ago is not what is happening now. Cell phones were not there some 40 years ago. They were not even there. But here they are all there. So we need to move with the trends. Facebook was not there, WhatsApp was not there, Twitter was not there, Instagram was not there. But now they are there. It means that we need to venture into this since they are now available. Move with technology and trends. For another issue is you are supposed to be a visionary leader, and you should have a vision. You should not just be a leader, but a visionary leader for you to start a small enterprise or small business enterprise. You should be a visionary. Lay out your vision well. You should know what you want to do in life. You don't just start things because others are doing it, but you should have your own vision for you to start a business. The problem we have is people listen to their relatives, their friends, their church colleagues, their workmates. And they also read on internet that these businesses are booming, but they don't have the vision for the business. You don't need to start a business which you don't have a vision for. You need to have a vision. You need to have a mission. What do you need to achieve in that business? When you have all this set up, it means you need to have a business plan. Before you can even embark on any business, you need to have a business plan, a well laid down business plan, because it makes you to make follow-ups when you are going through the business. Now, when you have a clear vision of the business, it means you know where you are starting from and where you are going to go to. You know what to follow up. You know how to overcome anything that you find along the way. And I'll continue with these qualities and traits that are necessary for small business enterprises. You need to have passion in the area or field that you want to embark on. Have passion. Have zeal to do the job. Have a lot of energy for it. If you have got passion in an area, definitely it will give you money. And as I have said before, you need to be able to absorb risks. Your mindset should be tuned in to absorb risks. You are supposed to be someone who is patient. A study that I've discovered that most businesses, they crumble. Most small enterprises or most small entrepreneurship businesses, they crumble in the first 2 years. If you manage to beat the first 2 years of your business and stay afloat, it means you've succeeded in the business. There's nothing that is going again to shake you as long as you pass through the first 2 years. So it means you need to be patient. A business is not like started today and it booms next month. Sometimes you need to get a client or base. You need to establish a brand, your own brand. And this takes time. You are selling products. You are selling services. You save someone today. After some time, they review your service. And when they see that the service was good or the product was good, they still come back to you and advertise you to more people in their linkage or connections. So the problem we have is with patience. We have got business people who just want to start a business today. And after 3 months, they need to have a lot of money coming out of the business. Another problem that we have in this area is we have got these youngsters who are growing up, the AMA 2Ks or the 2K generations, if I have to call them that. You know, when they get into anything, they just want to have fast money coming out, fast profits coming out, and so forth. But Business is not run like that. You need to be patient. You don't need to move too fast in any business. Take your time as you are moving through. Every obstacle that you meet along the way should be a stepping stone in your business. The more you overcome these issues, the more you get better in the business. Now, some more traits that we need to have. You are supposed to be leading from the front. You are supposed to be leader. You are not supposed to tell, for example, if you've got workers, you're not supposed to tell them what to do, which you can't do yourself. You are supposed to lead from the front. You are the visionary. And when you are the visionary, you lead from the front. As long as you start to delegate a lot of duties in which you cannot follow up, the business will not succeed. You are supposed to delegate duties, of course, because you are the visionary. But as you delegate duties, ensure that you make a follow-up on the duties and you know what you need to achieve by that delegation that you have done. And make your brand first. You see all the millionaires and billionaires in this world, they have a brand which they have made for themselves. When you get into your business, you make a brand for yourself. Do not try to copy exactly what is in the business. Make a brand for yourself. What are you known for? Are you known for quality? Are you known for better service? What are you known for? Are you known for customer service? What are you known for? This is important. And this is a trait that you need to have. You need to have a customer care. Listen to the concerns of customers. Listen carefully to them. And also, but it's not everything that the customers say that you need to implement. Sometimes there are things that will affect the business. But the first thing is to listen and assess on what the customer is saying. And look at how you are doing your business. The rules of engagement, are they going to be favorable or not? So you don't just take everything at face value that the customers are saying, but you also need to listen carefully to them. Have a listening ear. You also need to listen to the employees who are working for you. They have got a way in which they want the business to boom. So you need to listen to them. And whenever you do any business, quality is important. People want to get value for the money that they've paid for, or anything that they've paid for. So any business that you're going to do or run, make sure that quality is number one. Service is number one. Customer care is number one. Now, I'm going to look into the second segment, which I'm going to call the strategies that you should have. Strategies that you should have in starting a business entrepreneurship. Strategies. You need to have strategies. You don't just run a business without strategies. Number one, learn your business by working for someone else in the same business. You know, before you start a business, sometimes it's necessary to gain experience by working for someone else. How many people have you discovered that they've worked for some people and they ended up with their own entrepreneurships? When you are working for someone, you are looking into every avenue. The risk is not on you. Your mindset is free to think. You look into ways into which you can improve the services. You look into ways in which you can improve the services and the products. So the more you are going to do that, it means that you are already getting experience at no risk at all. So when you work for someone, it is important and key. And it gives you patience when you work for someone. And it gives you determination. So you need also to get into a business where you also, if possible, if you are not employed, get employed in an area in which you want to start a business, entrepreneurship, and learn as much as possible. Number two, do market research first. When you are starting a business, you need to do a market research. in the area in which you want to set up the business, do you have a market for the product or service that you want to embark on? Is it there? And if you are not sure about it, do a test run. Test the services. By starting smaller, test the services. For example, if you are keeping chickens, broiler chickens, you can start by having 100, and then you try to sell them in the market. If the market is absorbing them all, it means that they might need more. And now you've tested the market. You now know that the market is ready. You can now start the business at a higher note. You need to test your product or services in the market. Do a proper market research. Who are the competitors in the business? What makes them better than you if they are better? And what are their weaknesses? You need to look into this, the strength, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. You need to do what you call a SWOT analysis. You need to know your strengths yourself. You need to know your weaknesses as you are starting the business. You need to know what are the opportunities that are lined up for you. And you need to know also what are the threats that will make your business not to boom. When you look into all this, it means that you can sell through your business well. So you need to do a proper market research before you embark on any businesses that is there. Check on the gap in the market. Check. Are there things that are lacking in the market, which we are calling a gap? And those things that are lacking in the market are the ones that you are supposed to embark on and correct them. And once you do that, it means that people go and run for your service because they are a solution to a gap that is existing in a market or in an industry or a field. Number 3, be someone who seek advice from those who have already made it in life. Whether there are people who have made it in the same field that you want to embark on, or in the same area that you want to embark on, or whether they are in a different area. But the entrepreneurship skills are the same. So when you talk with them, they will give you ideas. They will give you things that you need to avoid and things that you need to do for your business to start well. So you need to consult widely as much as possible. Number 4, you need to get legal advice to ensure that everything is set up properly. If you are going to set up a business empire, you need to know what are the legal statutes that you need to know. What are the legal implications? Are there some legal aspects that you need to know before you start up the business? Because it will be difficult for you to look for legal advice when you're already in problems with your business. It becomes more expensive. But to get advice before you start the business will be less expensive because you wouldn't have committed a crime in your business. Know the laws of the country. What is involved in setting up your entrepreneurship business, small entrepreneurship business? Know the laws of the country. They are important. So that you know what is involved before you can start the business. And this should be part of your business plan as you start the business. You need also, number 5, to network, to create connections, to create a lot of connections prior to starting your business. You need to network. You need to know people who are in the same field. You need to read a lot about the field in which you are getting into. That is another way of connecting. You need also to get connected to people who can give you legal advice, the mentors in your business, coaches who can coach you in your business if you can get them. You can even get them in the church. You know, there might be people who are doing better. For example, in Forward in Faith there, in your regions, in your districts, in your province, there might be people who are doing better. May you kindly, over a cup of coffee, or a cup of coffee, or over some drinks, just talk with them. ask them things that you don't understand in the business. They will surely give you advice for you to properly network and get more connections in your business. You need to know where you can get the product cheap if you are not manufacturing it. So you need to network with the manufacturers of the product, whether in your country or outside the countries. You need to know. You need to create a solid business plan. What I understand in life is that if you don't plan, if you fail to plan, it means you have planned to fail. So you need to have a business plan which tells you everything, how you're going to be moving from what step to another. And you need to have a business plan that runs for a minimum of 1 year. This business plan will surely help you to sail through. It will surely help you to check on your progress. So the business plan should be done. You should have a business idea, look into idea, expand it, and write down everything that involves that idea. And ask as much as possible, read as much as possible, and get to social medias and look for the information that involves that area in order to come up with a proper business plan. Number 7, listen to your customers and employees. Whenever you are doing business, let me say, for example, you are starting the business or you are now in the business, you need to be someone who listens more than they talk. Customer is king. So whatever they say, you need to listen carefully and see if you can arrange some changes in that area. Or if they are employees, you need to see how you can adjust what they are talking about. Number 8, you need to have a proper bookkeeping system, a proper accounting system. You might not have an accountant in your business entrepreneurship, but you might be your own accountant. You need to have a way of knowing your stock, knowing your products, knowing your services. If you are employing other people, it means you need to have a way. There are accounting systems that are there. There are accounting softwares for groceries, hardwares, and so forth, which are there, which you need to have before you start the business. Because you need to have stock check and progress check every time. So you need to have a proper bookkeeping system in place. Otherwise, you run the risk of losing a lot from people who can take from you without your knowledge if you don't have a proper bookkeeping system. Number 9, a strategy that you need to have, you need to make calculated risks, which I have said before. And once you do calculated risks, it means you are moving in a good direction. Now, allow me again to move into the next segment, which I called mistakes entrepreneurs should avoid in business. In this segment, I'm going to talk about mistakes that entrepreneurs should avoid in their business. Mistakes that we should avoid. Number 1, the first mistake you should avoid is giving up too soon. You are not supposed to give up too soon in any business. You are supposed to persevere in the business. You are supposed to look into ways in which you can come out of the mud. If there are some obstacles you are facing, you need to know how to overcome the obstacles and put these obstacles as stepping steps into your business avenue or enterprise. Number 2, don't fail to strategize. If you fail to strategize, it means you don't have a clear business plan in place. You need to strategize. Even when soldiers are going to war, they need to know their strategy, which they are going to use in order to win the war. In soccer, in football, you know, teams, they've got football formations. In these formations, they need to know the team which they are playing, which type of formation they play, so that they can beat them in their own type of formations which they are using. So in any business, you need to strategize. You need to strategize, plan very, very carefully. And number 3, A mistake which you can make is not listening to customers. Customers, they give you their demands. They give you the products that they are looking for. They give you the quality that they are looking for. They give you the services that they are looking for. And if you satisfy these services and goods and qualities, it means they will come back again and they will multiply every day until you have a good brand, which is selling in your area and in your country and possibly overseas. Number 4, focus on the wrong things. If you focus on the wrong things, this is a mistake that you need to avoid. What do I mean by this when we say focus on the wrong things? There are people who want to start a business from a very high stage. Big businesses have started from basements or garages. They have started from humble beginnings. You don't start a business from a rocking chair, from a fan in the office, from a good desk, from a good laptop on the table, from a lot of Wi-Fi's in the area. Sometimes you need to start from humble beginnings. All these things will come along as the business is being established. You don't need a very, very good place for you to start your own business. Just have a place in which you can do your ventures, but which has got low monies that are required, low rentals, low overheads. The business should have low overheads. So when you focus on wrong things, it means that you are going to focus more on how the business will appear, on how everything is going to be established, rather than you should focus on how much profit you are going to get out of the business. Where you are operating from will not be very important, because if you operate from a very, very good place, it means that there is going to be a lot of money that you are going to be using for rentals and for upkeep of that place. So it's much better for you to operate from a place where you pay less and get more out of it. You need to focus on revenue generating activities like sales and marketing, rather than on a lot of other things that are not necessary for the avenue of entrepreneurship that you are taking. Let me look into number 5. A mistake that most entrepreneurs do is hiring the wrong people. Hiring wrong people for work is a mistake. You need to hire people who have got zeal to work, who have got qualities to work and traits to work. Most people, they decide to hire their relatives. Now, if your relatives are not your immediate family, sometimes it's a mistake. Because mostly relatives, when they come into your business, they see as if you are not giving them enough, as in salaries, because they are seeing how much they are getting out of the business daily or weekly or monthly, and how much you end up giving them. And in doing so, it creates bad blood with your relatives. I would rather encourage you to start the business, if you want some employees, with your immediate families. If you've got children who are grown up, teach them to do the business, because they know that this business is theirs. Your spouse will be someone who is critical if they're not going to work to enter into this business, entrepreneurship. If you are going to start with people who are not your relatives, you need to know people who have got a good track record, who you can easily trace. Where have they worked before? Why did they leave the job that they left before? What are their problems? Don't they have a criminal record? You need to look into all this before you can employ them. Otherwise, if you employ the wrong people, they will send the customers out of the shops for you. You need to employ someone who has got a customer care. They need to treat customers as king, so that these customers will continuously come back for you. And the more customers you have, the more money you have. So never make a mistake to employ wrong people. Number one, never make a mistake to employ people who are not qualified. Because along the way, there are things that you don't need to teach them, but there are things that they are supposed to have inside them so that they can make the business to go ahead and bloom. So if you take people who are not qualified, along the way, they will make a lot of mistakes. The mistakes that they make are not out of their making, but because they don't know. So employ someone who knows, and this will make the business to go. Number 6, you need not to be quick in buying assets or equipment when your business is not yet established. Buying a car, for example, a movable asset, is not a priority when the business is not yet established. You know, our problem is when we were growing up, we were told that if you have got a car, it means you are progressing well. But if the car becomes a necessity for your business, it is really a requirement. You need to have put it in a business plan that you need the car for the business to run. But buying a Porsche car, which is not going to be usable in the field or in the area or in your entrepreneurship business, is not a good idea. You need to save a lot. So you don't need to use the money that is coming, the profits that are coming out of the business, to buy big things that are not going to be usable. You need to avoid impulse buying of things when your business is running. For example, I'll use a grocery shop. The profits for a grocery shop are very small. And it's not a good habit that if anyone comes to your shop, a relative or someone who you know, a friend or anything, or anyone, you just take something from the shelf and give them. You need to calculate how much you are giving out. You as the director, or as the directors with your wife and your children, you should put yourselves on a salary scale so that you know if you are making profit or not out of the business. Your salaries should not be the profit, but the money that remains after you get everything and you pay yourselves is the profit. So you should use your salary to buy these people who are coming to your shop. If you want to give them goods, you buy using your salary. You actually buy. You don't just give them things. If you don't have money that is left from your salary, it means you don't have money. Even though your shop is full, it means you don't have money. So you can't give out things. Also avoid doing a business on credit. It has been observed, and I have studied this from my business, that if someone, you give them goods on credit, and if they are failing to pay back, what they do, when they get money and they want to buy again, they don't come to your shop. They go to other shops and start buying on cash. Because if they come to your shop, you ask them for the money that they have borrowed from you. So it is wise to do business on cash basis. This will make you to succeed faster. You need to take note of this. Because if someone is owing you, they try by all means to avoid you. And in avoiding you, they are not going to give you business. And they will rather give someone else business and not you. So at the end of the day, you lose a customer because you have given them goods or services on credit. Unless if you are very sure that this customer or this company is really going to make it in their payments, if you have got goodwill with the person, then you can sell on credit. But 99% chances, please sell your products or goods on cash basis. And then I will talk about number 7, which I say fail to monitor progress, or failing to monitor progress. And when you fail to make or to check on your progress and monitor progress, it means you don't know whether you are growing or whether you are not growing. You need to be monitoring your progress, for example, monthly. Check what have you realized the whole month. What were your overheads? What profit did you get after everything? Are you moving up or you are moving down? This is very important. Monitor your progress. It's very important. Number 8, you need not to set prices too low so that you outwit competition. Setting the prices to be too low will make you not to have enough money to sustain the business. You know, there are people, when they get into business, they try to outwit those who are already in the business by making sure that they put prices which are very, very low. But in doing so, they are not going to make profit, and they are going to fail to pay their overheads and pay their employees and pay everything and pay their salaries. And soon they will go out of the system. So you need to calculate your profits well, so that you will remain floating in the business. It's not about putting the price very, very low. You need to price your goods and services according to how you have received them. You need to have a margin of profit that you calculate in your business. You don't just need to sell because others are selling at that price. Perhaps they are selling poor quality goods. That's why they are selling very cheap. You need to understand. That's why I said you start by market research. See what type of products they are selling, what type of quality they are selling, so that when you are bringing in your products, your new products on the market, you need to know if they are the same with the products that are already existing on the market. You also need to avoid a mistake of not learning from the mistakes that you are doing in the business. Not learning from the mistakes that you are doing in the business is a mistake that can cost your entrepreneurship business. You should learn from the mistakes that you are doing. What is causing your business not to grow? And what should you do? You should always have challenges that you are facing in the business and come up with remedies or solutions to overcome those remedies. And when you do that, you will definitely succeed in the business. Number 9, the mistake that most entrepreneurs do is to have inadequate financial preparation and resources. You don't have enough financial preparation and resources before you start the business. People just start their business from nowhere. They just start a business because others are doing it. They don't do a market research. They don't do a business plan. They don't look into their competitors. They just start because they've got something in their hand. You need to start a business by putting a financial plan in place, whether the money that you have is enough, or whether you might need to acquire a loan in order to supplement the money that you have. It is also advisable to take loans from recommended banks or institutions rather than to go to some people who will give you very high interest in order to retain the money. And it will be difficult for you to retain it if it has got a very high interest rate. So you need to borrow loans which have got low interest rates when you start the business. And you need to spread them longer so that you pay little by little monthly for you to sustain the business. And the last of them, or the last mistake that I'm going to talk about in any type of business, is not to save a lot of money from your business. You know what you need to do after every month when you get your profits? You need to have a percentage that you are going to save. And out of the percentage that you are going to save, you need to invest that money somewhere where it is going to grow when you are sleeping. You don't need to take the money that, or the savings that you are going to get, and put them under your pillow or somewhere where you hide them, or in a locker or somewhere, or a safe. You need to take the money that you are saving and invest it somewhere. And now make sure you don't invest it where you are going to lose it. Ensure that where you invest your money, you will surely get the returns out of it. And this happens to be the last aspect that I wanted to discuss about. Now, this is just the beginning of the basic to entrepreneurship. I wish I'm going to have some more series with you so that you can enlarge your territories and bring more to your table. And remember, the late Archbishop Ezekiel Guti wants us to work with our hands. He is someone who wants us to be patient with whatever we are doing. And remember, he was also a prayerful person. In order to achieve the empire that he has in all the countries where Forward in Faith is now established, it was because he was patient. It was not easy for him when he started. I remember initially when I was reading the history, that when he wanted to start the church, some people even offered him a lot, some cash and things to start with, so that they partnered together to start the ministry. But the good part is, when he wanted to start the ministry, he consulted God first. And God, in turn, gave him what to do. So when we are starting these entrepreneurships, let's start them with God. Let's fast and pray so that God gives us direction. Let's not just start our businesses and then later on along the way, when the business is crumbling and failing, we go back to God and renew and pray for God to make the business to work. John chapter number 15 talks about that Jesus is the vine and we are the vine, is the vineyard and we are the vine. We need to have a proper relationships with our God. When we seek God first in everything, every avenue, it means that he will prosper everything that we do. Let us not go into business entrepreneurs which are against the biblical principles. Irregardless of how they are going to give you more money, you need still to stay within the biblical principles and the doctrine of your church. There are people who would want to involve themselves in drugs because drugs are giving a lot of money. But I'm encouraging you that whatever you do that is backed up by biblical principles will survive forever. But what you do which is not backed by biblical principles will only boom for a short while and then go down. I pray that God will give you good brains so that you can work on these entrepreneurships that you have started already in Lesotho or that you intend to start. May the good Lord richly bless you. I want to give my appreciation once again to Overseer Tobayo for giving me this opportunity to share with you these business principles. I hope they are very useful to you. To all those who are listening to me online and live, may the good Lord bless you. Everything that you get hold of, let it prosper in the mighty name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I would also want to appreciate my pastors here. I had not updated you. I fellowship at King David United Methodist Church in Zimbabwe, basically in Mutare. I am a UMC member and I give glory to God. And also I would need now to appreciate my pastors, Reverend Stephen Giachea and Reverend Eric Mfori. Also, I would want to appreciate more my district superintendent, Reverend Tendai Makono, and their spouses. And also, I would want to appreciate my bishop, Bishop E.K. Niwatiwa for the United Methodist Church. I would want to thank you all for listening. And in case you want to get to me, I will write my email somewhere so that you are able to get to me. May the God or may our Lord richly bless you and keep you safe. Have a blessed day and have a prosperous 2024. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all those who are watching from throughout the whole world. Bye. We will meet again in more programs. Bye.